Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So we have a bit of a respite from Soccer DFS here. The next slate on DraftKings and FanDuel is going to come on Thursday for a La Liga showdown when the Spanish league starts back up once again. There is some soccer being played, however, over the next couple days. There's the German League Cup going on. The Portuguese League is playing, and then there is that La Liga showdown on Thursday. So I'm going to be putting in some picks on PrizePicks. I have no affiliation with them, but since there is no soccer DFS to talk about, I thought it would be fun to try something different and put up a little content about the picks that I am putting in. If you also want to throw them in, the great thing is we are not competing against each other. We're just competing against PrizePicks here, so we can all be on the same picks. If you have never played before and you are interested in signing up, I do have a referral code below. I think you're going to get the same 25% deposit match regardless of whether you use the referral code or not, but that does help me out. All right, so the way that PrizePicks works is very simple. These are all the players that are that have props currently, and these matches are taking place between today, Tuesday, and Thursday. So each player gets a prop, which is essentially just a fantasy projection. Those are listed here. And the scoring is really simple. A goal is 5 points. An assist is 3. A shot is 1. A shot on goal is 1 as well. And then there's negative points for a yellow card or a red card. So the way I approach trying to beat these props is, I will take the prop from PrizePicks here, and then I've created my own projection. And so essentially what I am looking for is where there is the biggest differential between my projection and the prop. And that's what you see in this column. And the differential can be positive or negative because you have to pick over or under for each player's prop from PrizePicks. It just so happens that my projections for the current board of players, they're pretty much all over, so there's nobody I'm really interested in taking the under on. I've also created a floor projection, and that only takes into account shots and shots on target. And the reason I do that is because if you think about projections and props from a general standpoint, my projections are essentially an average, and it's not telling us the distribution of scoring over a large number of matches. So if we're looking at a player like Lewandowski, a high goal scorer, he's projecting for about 6.5 floor points just from his shots alone. But that's still 3 points shy of his prop. So what that means is that he really does need a goal and or assist to get over that prop. So although his projection is 12.6, you're going to see a lot of games where he ends around like 7 or 8 if he fails to score. But if he does score, he's going to be up at 14 or 15. So it's actually kind of rare that he's going to end right on that 12.5 mark. So I generally want to avoid players like that on a site like PrizePicks because at that point I'm essentially at the mercy of whether Lewandowski scores or not. Now, he does score a lot, and if his implied scoring percentage, from any sports book is well over 50%, then yes, certainly I will think about taking the over on his prop. But instead, what I prefer to do is focus on players that have the potential to beat their prop without a goal and an assist, and that's the guys that I have sorted here by the lowest floor differential. So Gnabry, Morone, Lima, and Volland are all within 1 point of their projection based on their floor alone. So what that tells me is that these guys have a pretty good shot at matching or beating their projection simply based on their floor, not even taking into account whether they score or not. And so that's why I've written floor cover in the notes for these 4 guys. The 2 I like the most are probably Lima and Volland. And the reason for that is Lima has a really nice matchup against a team that has allowed the second most goals in the Portuguese league. So not only does he have a very good chance to score in this match, but it's also likely that his team is going to have a ton of possession. So his shot floor should be a bit higher, meaning I think he has a really good chance to beat that projection of 4, even without scoring or assisting. Volland plays for Bayer Leverkusen. This is the German League Cup, but they're playing a team from one of the lower tiers. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th tier of German football. So this is one of those matches, like if you follow English soccer, that you would see in the FA Cup, where it's just a total mismatch between one of the better teams in the Bundesliga versus this lower tier team. And this is the quarterfinals, so Bayer is going to put out a pretty good lineup. So what all that means to me is that we should see a match that Bayer just completely dominates here. And so, again, I think he has a really good shot of beating his projection without even scoring or assisting. And then the 2 guys I like most after that are Gnabry and Moron. Moron from Betis. This is the Thursday La Liga match. He doesn't have the best matchup, but he literally needs 2 shots with 1 on goal just to match his prop. So I really like how low that prop is there. In terms of strategy with the picks, it depends from board to board, but based on this one, I'm going to take some shots on 3 or 4 player parlays or picks, if you will. So as I mentioned, my top 4, well, I guess my top 3 would be Volland, Lima, and Moran. I'll probably have a pick 3 with those guys. And then I think I will throw in 2 4 picks with those 3 and add in Gnabry on 1, and then replace Gnabry with Lewandowski on the other. And then finally, one other thought I have is doing a Bayern Munich stack of Lewandowski, Muller, and Gnabry as a pick 3. And the reasoning there is that first of all, they're playing Frankfurt, who they just beat 5-2 a couple weeks back in the Bundesliga. So if we see another high-scoring match, which I think we should, if Bayern can score 3 or more goals, then there's correlation between Gnabry, Lewandowski, and Muller, right? So if one of them scores, then it becomes increasingly likely that one of the other ones will assist on that goal, and so on and so forth. So I think there is definitely merit to Bayern Munich stack there just because of the correlation that they have. One other final note, as I said, you can take unders on players. And so the players that you might consider taking unders on would be these bottom 3 here who have a floor projection of nearly 3 lower than their actual projection. The problem is, like I mentioned, that if any one of these players scores, they're pretty easily going to go over their prop. So, well, at least Lewandowski. Muller and PZ are a bit different, but I don't think there's any reason to go there based on this group of players, and I like sticking to those overs that I already mentioned. All right, guys, that is going to cover it. Like I said, if you're interested in signing up, I encourage you to use my referral code below, as that does help me out. I will be back to cover some LPL, the 2-game slate tonight, later on this afternoon, so look for that. And until next time, good luck.